Happy 4th of July, July 4th, 2025. I am coming to you about interesting actions done by the Apache County Sheriff's Department. There's no love lost there, unfortunately, and they continue to do pretend law enforcement. Seriously, I think that most of the officers there need to be retrained or fired. That's just my opinion. And there needs to be a criminal investigation into just about every case they've ever had. But that's my opinion also. This is an opinion based. I'm giving you my thoughts. You may or may not like them. They are what they are. I do mean what I say, so I love the fact of people who want to try to imply or do anything else. I guess you must be a cop to do that. So, anyways, and other people. Gotta love Alpine. They love to believe everybody else is what they think, but rather than look at the evidence, and we're not going there. This is a case about a stolen motorcycle. And the Apache County Sheriff's Department's response to the stolen motorcycle. They're horrible people, and they like to believe and make up and manufacture what was said to them, and imply, infer, twist, contort. Officer T. Moreno, badge number A24. She says she's a cop. I'm not sure how she met any level of being a cop, but supposedly she's a trainee, but she has a supervisor, Ellingsworth, but nobody is directing her at all. And so it's a complete and total failure by Joseph Dedman again. There's more to come about him too. Sadly he's got a lot of issues, and so does the Sheriff's Department. They run wild with stupidity. But this case is about a motorcycle that was stolen. In February 20th of 2025, I got out of Apache County Jail. From there, I went and had to deal with, came home, and my motorcycle wasn't here. The person who had it, I demanded it back. I asked where it was, found out who had it, and told them to bring it back in February, March, April, May, and finally I reported it to the police. Took a little bit to report it to the police because the deputy at the ACSO has been told, dispatcher, I believe, has been told and made a statement to me that she's not allowed to take calls from me unless they're about me. So the Apache County Sheriff's Department has decided that any criminal can do anything they want towards me, and they're not going to deal with it, which is funny. Anyways, there we go again. I digress. So, back on topic with the motorcycle. So, I get a hold of one other officer, don't know who he was. He ends up talking to me on the phone, and he then transfers me over to Deputy T. Moreno, who states that she's a new cop and all this other stuff, and she's trying to build some rapport with me. Unfortunately, there's a lot of animosity, and I have a high distrust of the Sheriff's Department, for good reason. And those reasons, if you don't know, will come out in another podcast or another video, and we'll be talking in depth about that too. So here we sit, and Crime TV might be taking my case too. So Apache County Sheriff's Department is not going to like that either. So here we sit, as we're doing all this fun stuff. So she talks to me. I tell her that I got out of jail. My bike wasn't here. I demanded it back. For over 3 months, I've been trying to get it back through peaceful and demanding actions. Like I told him I wanted it back. Never touched him, never physically threatened him, didn't do anything at all. I just said, bring the bike back, or further steps will be taken. The further steps were, I called the Sheriff's Department. Well, after 2 weeks of trying to force the Sheriff's Department into doing it, I made a complaint to a higher level, and finally they took my phone call. I was actually told to contact them and give them one more chance to take the criminal complaint of theft of means of transportation 13-18-14 ARS. So I get switched between officers. Finally this deputy comes in, and then I explained to her. She contacts the individual. He has the bike and all this other stuff, and then I tell her to contact my significant other. Supposedly, the person said that my significant other gave her permission. The law does read, interestingly enough, that you have to have legal authority. Now, I didn't sign a power of attorney to anybody, and the jail or the county, the sheriffs, have all of my phone calls. They record them all. They like to make them up because they won't produce them when you threaten to kill a judge or a district attorney, even though you didn't do it. But you know what? They said you did it on the phone, and then they will report that you committed 2 more murders and you didn't commit the murders. You gotta love Celeste Robertson and her delusional crack addict. And that's my opinion. And she's been robbing Apache County. She just stole another $600,000. But we're going to go back to this case because that's something else we're going to be talking about. So we go forth with that. All right, so here we sit. We're moving forward. The motorcycle's stolen and everything else like that. Now the deputy, is telling me that I gave permission to my significant other to give this person permission to remove the bike from the property. Well, that didn't happen. And my significant other never had legal authority and never gave her any permission and never signed a power of attorney for her to do anything with my personal items. Nothing. Now, Deputy Moreno, if you want to call her that, T. Moreno, and I use that term loosely because if you're a cop, you should definitely be ashamed that this is an officer. She's one of those ones that, she's a disgrace, just as a person, as a female, and as a female officer. That's my opinion. So she's arguing with me that permission was given, even though it wasn't. And I told her many times that she has all the jail recording calls. Look them up. If you're making a claim that I did something, once again, you have all of the recording phone calls. She refuses to do this because it doesn't exist, and she knows it doesn't exist, so she's going to make it up. Probably because she was told to, because the Apache County Prosecutor's Office doesn't want to have any criminal complaints from me. One of the dispatchers slipped up and said that they were told not to take any criminal complaints from me, which is interesting. So, we're going to go over here and look at ARS 813-1814, theft of means of transportation. A person commits the theft of means of transportation without the lawful authority, which means power of attorney, given permission. They can't even prove verbal permission. Because even the person they're saying that had permission is saying, no, she didn't have lawful authority. That there was nothing there. And this was supposed to be a temporary removing of the bike. So, it doesn't matter. It happened without my permission. End of story. And it's very clear-cut and black and white. Does any one of the following. Okay, so that means any level of this. See, unfortunately, this is kind of directed at Deputy Moreno because she's an idiot. I believe she is. And she doesn't believe that any of these things happened. Controls another person's means of transportation with the intent to permanently deprive the person of means of transportation. Okay, the bike was taken from the property. When asked for it back, he refused to bring it back. Over 3 months went by with multiple demands of return of the bike and still refusal. Okay, so now let's smoke some LSD or smoke some crack, do some LSD, drop some shrooms, do some ketamine, which is all probably in the wheelhouse of Apache County Sheriff's Department because they love to do drugs or at least traffic in them. They're really good at that. So, say there was a lawful authority. We're hypothetically talking here. Okay, with the intent to derive permanently. All right, well then we read the second one. It says number 2 there. It's actually pretty cool. It says it right over there. See, there's 1 and there's 2. So any one of the following. So you don't have to have multiples. You just have to do one of these, which Deputy Moreno doesn't seem to understand. So let's read the second one. If we believe that there was a lawful authority given by a person who didn't have a power of attorney, who I'm not married to, okay, and who was not delegated any authority on from anybody, and they have all the proof they need that none of those things happened, but let's believe they did, because Apache County, we love to make things up, and that's what they do. So we convert for an unauthorized converts for the unauthorized term or use of another person's means of transportation that is entrusted to or placed in the defendant's possession for a limited authorized term or use. So let's smoke some crack, drop some acid, do some shrooms, inject some ketamine, and believe the fact that somebody had lawful authority without a power of attorney, without any verbal confirmation, with none of that. Let's believe it. Now, we have in February, I demanded the bike back. In March, I demanded the bike back. In April, I demanded the bike back. In May, I demanded the bike back. And then I took the further steps of contacting the police, which is the legal thing to do, the appropriate thing to do. Not go beat him up, not go threaten him, not go take a baseball bat, nothing. Nothing. I contacted the Apache County Sheriff's Department, which has been met with such stop. They refuse to do things. They don't like to do their jobs, and they want to collect a paycheck. So they did this. So then they're guilty of two, because say it was given for a limited authorized use. It wasn't a permanent. So, and that was agreed to. Again. So here we sit, and she refuses to file charges. Openly, it doesn't matter how much crack or meth she smokes, or LSD she drops, or ketamine she injects into her system. This is what it is. And her supervisor agrees with her. So how much crack does he smoke? See, it seems to be a problem. Now, you want to say that he didn't intend to permanently deprive me of it. Well, the bike was taken to Lake Havasu. I have the text messages. He's admitted that. It's been told to me on that they took it to Lake Havasu. Now, you see where Alpine is and you see where Lake Havasu is? You know it's 409 miles without authorization. And Apache County Sheriff's Department, while smoking some serious drugs, believes that this is not the intent to deprive. So they have to bully, and now they're threatening and they're playing games and trying to tell me it's a civil matter and everything else. Deputy Moreno, yeah, you get an F for being a cop. Your trainer it literally needs to be fired. There needs to be an investigation into the procedures of and the policies of Apache County, because it's obvious that you have no clue what you're doing as a job, and maybe you knowingly don't know, or maybe you're just willful ignorance, and that's giving you the benefit of the doubt. The reality is there's a crime. It's been committed. I gave this kid ample opportunity to do the right thing. He chose not to. They want to make up bullshit and go through things and try to cloud and misconduct. I have a clean title. End of story. So, Apache County, love ya. You guys are awesome. Not really. That's a sarcastic remark, and that should be stricken from the record. I don't think highly of you, and well, we're not going into what my wishes are. But the reality is, you failed, and you're protecting somebody else. So, in Apache County, if I give permission for somebody to take my next door neighbor's RV and go get the tires changed, that is not theft, even if they take it 409 miles away. That's not intent to deprive. That's not anything, even though that's exactly what it is. But Apache County Sheriff's interpretation is, no, it's not, and you're going to go forward with it. So, I appreciate the fact if you guys are involved in the conspiracy against me. It still isn't going to change anything. Your death threats, Apache County Sheriff's Department, yeah, nah, pull out your gun and just shoot me. And that's not an invitation. Unfortunately, your words of trying to kill me and your threats in the bathroom at a restaurant don't amount to anything. Unfortunately, it is going to get you in trouble. And I'm never going to stop. You guys created this beast. Everything you do, somebody's going to be watching. And we're coming. There's a lot of disgruntled people in Apache County against you and the county government. And we're going to expose the corruption at every level, and we're going to continue to do it. I'm not backing down. I don't care. You guys want to put me on first-degree murder charges again. I'm still haven't killed anybody. I'm still not trying to kill anybody. And it's really good that you guys want to make believe that you do. Just like with the aggravated assault. I was actually on the phone with you guys. And that's interesting that you deleted the 911 call of me being on the phone. It's kind of convenient because everything you say, the phone call would prove that's different, even though the video shows a lot of difference too. And I wonder if on the aggravated assault, I love your lies, by the way, and your perjury on the stand. Good oath, good integrity, Andrew Arona. I'll call you out right to your face. I have the transcripts, and I have your police reports, and they're going to become very much public too. And everybody's going to know what a POS you are. And we're going up forth with the Attorney General and with the FBI on your perjury, and it's not done by a long shot. Deputy Moreno, there's going to be complaints moved up too, because this is actually a clear-cut case. I've talked to several police officers in many districts around the state, and given them all the information and sent them and let them listen to the audio recordings of you on the phone and the audio recordings of Laura on the phone. And it's interesting. Your story isn't consistent, and you work hard at protecting the criminal. So in some people's views, including a U.S. attorney, you're in conspiracy. I'm not done, and unfortunately there is a black and white. There is a clear cut, and you don't get to mistreat the citizens. Like I said, I believe in my government. Unfortunately, you're one of those people that's corrupt, and knowingly or unknowingly, or just because you're told to do it, it makes you bad. You're not a good person. Now, you may do good things, and you may hide behind it, but overall, in the end, there was a theft. You're trying to blame me for the theft, and you're trying to cover it up, which is amazing. Why? And I'd love for you to find out why you're trying to cover it up or ignore the fact that there's a crime and try to justify the crime. I gave the guy 3 months, and I was polite. I was nice. I asked him to give back my bike. I demanded it back. I never touched him, never threatened to touch him. I told him that further steps were going to be taken, and I called the sheriff's department. Now, why does Apache County Sheriff's Department act as an obstructionist towards the law? It's kind of funny. But you guys will make up crimes on other people, and we'll come up with another case that shows that you guys took a footprint and charged him with a Class 3 felony, a burglary. It's funny, it got pleaded down to a Class 6 felony because it was easier for him just to get out of jail and get over with it. And unfortunately, that's what you guys do. You bully people, kidnap them, throw them in jail, and then coerce them to be on probation so you can revoke them later, and it's easier. And there is a conspiracy in Apache County. It may be in other counties, but the way that you guys operate is horrible. It's in violation of so many rights, rules, regulations, laws, and just basic human decency. So, if you're a thief in Apache County and you want to steal something from somebody else, All you have to do is get third-party permission of somebody who doesn't own the bike, has no lawful authority to give you permission to take the bike, and Apache County Sheriff's Department will not charge you and let you go and act as though you committed no crime. Now, is that true? It shouldn't be, but that's what's going on right now. Welcome to Apache County. Gotta love Sheriff Deadman and how the officers are let to run amok. And we have another case with a trailer that is very similar with Deputy Brown, who is just as bad. He was also a new cop too, and dealing with a theft of a trailer, and wholeheartedly ignored it. Sadly, the Attorney General Investigation Division has been informed of this, and they're looking into you also. It's amazing the conspiracy of the Apache County Sheriff's Department. And sadly, you guys are proving the conspiracy by your lack of action and your unwillingness to follow the law. So, happy 4th of July. Hopefully we can make America great again. God bless. And we have better tomorrows. Because unfortunately we need to get rid of these people. And remember this, the Sheriff's Department is not your friend. They are not there to help you. They're probably going to try to screw you. And don't have a conversation with them. And we'll get into the other city police too and their crimes and how the chief of police has covered things up. That's coming on different podcasts. But you guys have a wonderful day. Enjoy your 4th. Remember, it's make America great. Believe in America. We do have a good system. It's the people in the system that have made it bad. And that's a sad thing. So, on that note, we'll just say goodnight, and you guys have better tomorrows.